Let's compare it to some other starches. Amylopectin B is found in bananas and potatoes. And if you're familiar with the glycemic index of food, you will know that bananas and potatoes, they get the blood sugar level up pretty high, pretty fast.
Hello, I am Barbara O'Neill, and today we'll explore how you can manage diabetes naturally without medication. In this comprehensive guide, we'll delve into effective diet and lifestyle hacks that have been transformative for many. Whether you're looking to improve your own health or supporting someone you love, these insights are designed to empower you with knowledge and practical steps to enhance your well-being as you age gracefully. Join me on this journey to reclaim your health naturally. As a thank you for joining me today, we're giving away 100 free copies of my best-selling book to our subscribers. So if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, like this video, and comment why you want to win. Now let's get started.
First thing we look at is why. Why are so many people suffering from diabetes? So what we need to look at is what's changed, and one of the biggest things that's changed is the diet. Never in the history of mankind have human beings eaten so many carbohydrates. When you look at all the different countries in the world, every country always had a carbohydrate as part of the diet. So we look at Asia and it was predominantly rice. We look at Italy, it was predominantly probably pastas and breads. We go to the South Pacific Islands, the starches were sweet potatoes, cassavas. We go to the United Kingdom and the carbohydrate was probably oats, they're big oat eaters. So just an illustration to show that every country in the world has always had a carbohydrate as part of their basic diet. But we've come to a time on planet Earth where it's almost as if all the carbohydrates from all the different countries have been put together. And people have become high carbohydrate consumers.
And now we face an epidemic where high carbohydrate intake is a major contributor to rising diabetes rates. As we understand the need for balance, we see the urgency to modify our diets towards more complex carbohydrates and increase our intake of fibres and proteins. This adjustment helps stabilise blood sugar levels by providing a slower, more consistent release of glucose into the bloodstream. To manage diabetes naturally, it's vital to integrate diverse food sources like legumes, whole grains and plenty of fresh vegetables. These foods not only provide essential nutrients, but also aid in maintaining optimal blood sugar levels, ensuring our bodies function efficiently without the need for medication.
And I think the reason why people are looking for quick breakfast, because so many people go to bed too late, because they're either watching television or they're on the computer or on the phone, games, and so many people aren't getting enough sleep, so they go to bed late, so they wake up late, and they just want something very quick. And so here we have cereal. Another quick one is bread. And these two don't take you very far. And so mid-morning, many people reach for cakes, cookies, pretzels, chips, donuts. So I'm just going to say etc., because there's a lot of them. Another carbohydrate snatched from another country is pizza. So from Italy, you could say the pizza and the pastas came.
The pastas have also become staples worldwide, but what they contribute in convenience, they lack in nutritional balance. It's essential to introduce more wholesome, nutrient-dense alternatives to these quick fixes. Incorporating foods like steel-cut oats, yogurt with nuts and seeds, or smoothies packed with greens and protein can transform our morning routine. These options not only satisfy hunger, but also provide sustained energy and vital nutrients that help manage blood sugar levels effectively. By shifting our diet to include these healthier choices, we support our body's natural ability to regulate glucose, reducing the dependency on medication and leading a healthier lifestyle that naturally combats diabetes.
And we're such a fast society today that people get hungry and they reach for the fast. Now, when I was in the rainforest raising my children, this was not fast food. Down on the farm, this isn't fast food. It takes a while to make cereal, to make bread, to make cakes, to make pizza, to make pasta, to cook rice, to cook potatoes. It's not fast food, that's slow food. What's fast food on the farm? Fruits and vegetables. Pick an apple off the tree, eat. Pick a cucumber, eat. Pick a tomato, eat. The fast food is fresh fruit and vegetables. So if I'm travelling and the people I'm about to stay with say, we're a bit concerned, what do we feed you? I said, it's real easy, fast food. Fruits and vegetables. I'm very happy with fruits and vegetables. That's your true fast food. But I want to show you the result of what is happening today with so many people living on this diet. All of this food breaks down in the gastrointestinal tract to a singular structure called glucose. We touched on that yesterday. And the glucose gets absorbed out of the gut and into the blood, then goes on the M1 main highway straight to the project manager, which is the liver. And then the liver determines where the glucose goes. And the first place it'll send the glucose is to the cell. Now we're going to have a look at what happens in the cell. So the glucose goes in, and it goes in under the action of insulin. So I'm going to flip over to my next board, and while we're looking at insulin, I want to show you what the pancreas produces. The pancreas, yesterday we looked at the pancreas and its role in digestion and what it releases into the gut. But now I want to look at what the pancreas releases into the blood. It releases two hormones. One is insulin, and insulin's the key that unlocks the door to get the glucose out of the blood and into the cell. So insulin's role in the body is to get the blood sugar levels down when they go too high. And that high carbohydrate diet releases high glucose, and so from the pancreas demands high insulin to get it out of the blood and into the cell. There's another hormone that it produces, and that's glucagon. And glucagon, the other hormone released by the pancreas, gets the blood sugar level up again. So if the blood sugar level goes too low, then the brain says to the pancreas, stop the insulin, release glucagon to get it up again. But when a person's blood sugar level goes low, what do they usually do? Reach for a cup of coffee with 2 teaspoons of sugar, reach for a candy. Will that get it up? Oh yes. Boom, up again. And the brain says, stop the glucagon, release the insulin. Down again. Stop the insulin, release the... Can you see what's happening here? We've got many pancreases today that are just wearing out. See, what every cell in the body needs, requires, and what the pancreas needs and requires to function well is a steady, sure, slow release of glucose. And that's what the 3 essentials give it. Fibre. Fibre slowly releases the glucose. Protein is broken down in the stomach, so it also gives a steady, sure release of glucose. Fat. Yes, fat helps to slowly release the glucose. That's what the pancreas needs, and it's what every cell in the body needs.
So the goal in managing diabetes naturally is to embrace a diet rich in these essentials. By focusing on complex carbohydrates like vegetables and whole grains, along with healthy fats from avocados and olive oil, and quality proteins from beans and nuts, we can sustain energy levels and avoid spikes in blood sugar. Additionally, regular physical activity enhances insulin sensitivity, allowing the body to utilize glucose more effectively without relying solely on medication. It's about creating a lifestyle that supports the pancreas and entire endocrine system by nourishing it with what it genuinely needs to thrive. This approach not only helps manage diabetes, but also promotes overall health and longevity.
There's no doubt about it that diabetes was not on planet Earth until sugar was refined. Hippocrates, 400 years BC, no mention of diabetes. So there's no doubt about it that sugar plays a role. It takes 1 yard of sugar cane to deliver 1 teaspoon of sugar. It's a pure crystallized acid. And when it goes into the body, blood sugar levels go boom. And then the brain says, quick, insulin, get it down. And then there's this constant whiplash, which eventually wears pancreases out. But before pancreases get worn out, something else happens. The cell develops insulin resistance, as if the cell says, I'm sick of the sight of you. Go away. And yet the blood sugar level's remaining high because the insulin couldn't get it in the cell because there's insulin resistance, and the brain says to the pancreas, more insulin, more insulin. What's the body going to do now? That high glucose will spill out in the urine. Diabetes mellitus means sugar in the urine. But as you will see, that insulin resistant can be turned around very quickly. But something else has come on the scene. Something else has come along that's caused an absolute explosion. In the 1950s, Dr. Norman Bulag in Mexico put wheat through intensive crossbreeding. The aim was to create a plant with a high yield of grain. When I was a little girl, wheat used to grow that high. Have you noticed how high it grows now? It only grows that high. We had a 19-year-old wheat farmer do our program, and he was really shocked when I told him that wheat used to grow that high because he's never seen it. He's 19. He's the son of a wheat farmer. Because it all grows this high now. You see, when it grew that high and it had a heavier yield, the stalk would break before they could harvest it. So back to the drawing board, they eventually created a plant that only grows that high with a thick stem because of the heavy yield of grain, sometimes 6 to 8 times per plant. So Dr. Norman Bulag got a Nobel Prize in 1976 for his hybridized wheat. They did it to help with the starvation crisis in Africa, in India, in Mexico. But you can't improve on God. This wheat was rushed through with no safety studies. Does that sound familiar? Rushed through with no safety studies. They didn't think they had to do safety studies on wheat, but only now are they starting to see the problem that it's caused. When they hybridized the wheat, they changed 2 main things. They changed the protein or the gluten structure, and that's why when people have irritable bowel, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, we looked at it last night, it has an irritating effect on the colon. That's why those foods must stop to heal that colon. Do I eat wheat? Sometimes. Not much, doesn't have any effect on me because I don't have any health problems. But if I had any health problems, I wouldn't touch it. But what it also did is what I particularly want to explain to you tonight is what it did to the starch structure. Because you have a look at this. How many of these are wheat? Wheat, wheat. In this list, you've probably got about 10 or 15 different ones. Wheat, wheat. The majority on our carbohydrate list are from the wheat plant. So what it did, and I'm going to go to another screen to do this one, what it did, it created a starch called amylopectin A. Amylopectin A is the name of the starch that was created in the hybridization process of the wheat. So it's not naturally in that wheat. In the hybridization process, this was created. It's amylopectin A. And amylopectin A, let me show you what it does. Let's say this is blood sugar levels. Amylopectin A gets the blood sugar level up very high, very fast, then you've got that corresponding dump. That's the amylopectin A. Let's compare it to some other starches. Amylopectin B is found in bananas and potatoes, and if you're familiar with the glycemic index of food, you will know that bananas and potatoes, they get the blood sugar level up pretty high, pretty fast. So let's look at the B. The B goes fairly high, fairly fast, not as high, not as fast, and not as low. That's your B. Amylopectin C is found in beans, so legumes, chickpeas, lima beans, lentils, black-eyed beans, cannellini beans, kidney beans, so many different beans. What does it do? Amylopectin C gets a nice steady rise and a nice steady drop. That's your C. And every cell in the body requires, desires that steady, consistent delivery of fuel. It actually gives the pancreas a break. There's no, quick, we're too high, oh no, we're too low, oh no, we're too high. No, it's just this steady, consistent delivery of fuel. That's what it needs. So let's have a look at the glycemic index. Let's have a look at where the wheat sits on the glycemic index. What is the glycemic index? The glycemic index is a reading on how quickly the glucose in food is released into the blood. So the glycemic index, say baseline, is 55. So anything under 55 is considered low GI.
Because low glycemic index foods help to prevent those sudden spikes in blood sugar levels. Embracing these types of foods is crucial in a natural diabetes management plan. Foods such as barley, non-starchy vegetables, and most fruits provide slower glucose release, supporting a steady energy level throughout the day. Furthermore, incorporating dietary fibres from these sources can enhance gut health, which plays a significant role in overall glucose management. By adjusting our meals to include these lower glycemic options, we not only stabilise blood sugar, but also reduce inflammation, a common exacerbator of diabetes symptoms. This holistic approach minimises the need for medications by addressing the root causes of blood sugar imbalances.
Something else has come into the equation. And it all happened around the time of the let me get it right, the Industrial Revolution, got it right? It all happened around the time of the Industrial Revolution, where they started to create a lot more chemicals, a lot more chemical cleaning products, a lot more chemical fabrics. But what I wanted to specifically look at is what they did to the oils. Now, before the Industrial Revolution, depending on where you lived, it was near the equator, it was either coconut oil or palm oil, and if it was in the Mediterranean, it was usually olive oil or maybe sunflower oil. Sunflower seeds are soft seeds. I've had people say to me their grandmother used to grind the sunflower seeds, squeeze them and get the oil. And if it was in the more northern countries, it was usually butter or cream from organic cows. And if it was further up, it was usually fish, seals, whale blubber, depending on where you lived on the planet. And by the way, diabetes was very low, and as you'll see in my next lecture, heart disease was very low. But in the Industrial Revolution, they created equipment so they could get oil out of hard seeds. You see, the olive oil is extracted from the flesh of the plant. Women could have presses in their kitchen to press the flesh of the olive to get the oil. And the coconut oil is extracted from the flesh of the plant. So they grate the coconut and they squeeze it with water and they get the milk, and then in a saucepan, double saucepan, or traditionally just in the sun, it would separate into the oil. So in their kitchen, women could do it. But to get oil out of a hard seed, that needs high heat chemical equipment. And if you go into the supermarket, you can see them. They're in clear plastic bottles, and they're the cheapest oils: vegetable oil, canola oil, soy oil, corn oil, safflower oil. They're the dangerous oils. And when they come into the body does not recognize them because their whole structure has been changed by the heating and by the chemicals. And they're the oils that can block this cell to inhibit insulin and glucose getting in and out of the cell.
To naturally manage diabetes, we must return to the healthier traditional oils and fats that our ancestors used. Integrating oils like extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, and even small amounts of organic butter into our diet can help maintain the integrity of our cells' insulin receptors. These traditional fats are not only more recognizable to our body, but also provide anti-inflammatory benefits, crucial for improving insulin sensitivity. By making these swaps, we can enhance our body's ability to use insulin effectively, reducing the need for medication, and helping to reverse the insulin resistance that so often characterizes type 2 diabetes. This holistic approach is a fundamental pillar in managing diabetes naturally. If you found this guide helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more insights on natural health. Together, let's embrace a healthier lifestyle and manage diabetes effectively. Take care and see you in the next video.